that's the thing. You notice that? They're giving him a gap to P3.
They know Lowndes is coming.
They know he's coming. 12.2 that lap for Jason Bright. At 1 minute 12.5 for Rick Kelly. At 1 minute 12.3 for Craig. Let's listen. Craig's call for lap times of the others.
He's about 2 or 3 tenths slower than you. There's a few cars between you and them.
And that traffic is going to be the issue to manage here.
He needs a clean run through. But if driving a V8 supercar around Sandown isn't challenging enough, he's asking what lap times they're doing. He wants it. He wants this back-to-back victory in remarkable style. Craig Lowndes. The chase continues. Can Craig Lowndes catch race leader Jason Bright and second place Rick Kelly? The call just went out. 9.3 seconds the margin. First to third. Lowndes is starting to take chunks out as we join second place Rick Kelly, who is in a strong position in the championship and in this race in the Toll HSV Dealer Team Commodore. And what a race it's been. They talk about Sandown as being a suitable lead-up to Bathurst. What about it being a great event in its own right?
1 minute 12.7 Jason Bright that lap. 1 minute 12.5 Rick Kelly. 1 minute 12.6 Craig Lowndes. He doesn't really have enough additional speed at the moment, Craig, to whittle down that kind of margin. 9.4 seconds is the gap between Craig and Rick Kelly. Brad Jones 1 minute 13.3. He's just a fraction slower than Steve Johnson at 12.9.
And the sun shines on Sandown again. These variable conditions. Yeah, he did miss a gear.
A bad one too, because it was the second to third, and I reckon he actually grabbed first there, and he actually got it in the gate, and it gave it a zing. That will have hurt. Trouble here for car number 50, Nathan Pretty at the wheel. Straight lines the S's through the grass. And car number 20, Marcus Marshall, runs wide down there at turn 8 as well, and he's down at in the beach. Keeps the gas on and manages, I think, to get this car out, but would have put quite a bit of rubbish on the road down there. So want to be very careful as you come off turn 8 with that kind of gravel and sand all over the road. Now that would have hurt. And they just actually gave, the reason I paused, they gave Craig an instruction: relax on that gear lever, drive like you're enjoying it, don't force it. They would have seen in the telemetry the big number come up there, and that'd be a monster rev. Turns 2 and 3. This is 4. It was the previous lap exiting here where he made the mistake. It's in this shift here, second to third. And see, when he just shoves it to the front, he misgated and went straight into first.
And it was costly time-wise, because the margin's grown back out to 9.6 seconds. Bright to Lowndes, first to third. These are exciting times for Jason Bright, Mark Winterbottom and Ford Performance Racing. 15 laps away from a better electrical Sandown 500 victory.
The other thing that was noticeable then, when Craig gassed it up coming off from turn 8, second gear, a lot of wheel spin I could hear.
Yeah, mate, we've just requested blue flags for it, so just get your lights flashing.
Stress in,
to make it look like we're staying there.
Stress in the voice of Craig Lowndes, stressed about the traffic. And the power down on that car didn't sound terrific coming off turn 8 before. That's the other issue. When you're trying to hustle and make up these huge gaps, you've got to push hard. His last lap then was a 13.3. The 2 leaders did 12.7s apiece. There's no let up in the pace, but Scaife out in the marbles there. And that fired him across the ripple strip on the approach to 8.
Steve Owen took evasive action, stayed wide, gave him room. Here's another zinger replay. Whoa. The Ritter Skyfleet car into the back of James Courtney, but no harm done.
Yeah, 0.8 is the margin between Jason Bright and Rick Kelly, so the pressure stays on there at the moment. Here's Lowndes again, third. 10.2 seconds behind Rick Kelly. Battle scars. The driver's mirror is folded against the bodywork on Craig's cars. A few scuffs down the side of it.
Time may have beaten Craig Lowndes here.
those in race control a bit of tickle up. We're doing our job, are they doing theirs? Rick Kelly 12.3 that lap, Jason Bright 12.6, Craig Lowndes 13.4. So that's a speedy bit of pace from Rick Kelly at 12.3. Margin down now to 0.59 of a second, so he's going to keep the pressure on. I don't know that Lowndes has got an answer. Probably had to use too much rear tyre to get to this point, but it is an incredible comeback, and from it, even from where he is at the moment, a big fistful of points, 300 of them showing against his name at the moment. 310 for Rick Kelly, 320 for Jason Bright. So in terms of championship, as they came into this round, 37-point margin in favour of Craig Lowndes, and so he'd hold sway over Rick.
Greg?
And I reckon that's exactly the reason why Campbell Little looks very nervous at the moment. He's been chewing his nails, almost got like a minor shake about him, because he wants to get this car in the best position possible for the championship that you've just mentioned. But also, too, Neil, they wouldn't give me too much of an idea. I'm in the bunker here with them at the moment about the shape or what state those rear tyres are in, but he has certainly been aggressive with the car. One thing Roland Dane did tell me, he's popped the headsets off just a moment ago, and he said to me, don't worry about that misshift. All the data indicates that it's okay. The car's okay.
Look at this. Rick Kelly has not given up on a victory in the Sandown 500. He has closed that margin to Jason Bright. Now the big drag up the back straight.
Make brake balance forward, make brake balance forward.
That's Phil Key talking to Bridie. Just shift the brake balance a little further forward. The margin's down to next to nothing. And Rick has shown great speed in the last couple of laps. He's not letting go of this one.
He has never finished outside the top 5 in this event. Rick Kelly I'm talking about. He's had a 3rd, a 4th and a 5th, but he wants the big one. All over Bright now.
And they're counselling him, be patient, mate, be patient, because they're thinking championship.
Something unique in V8 supercar racing. Brothers driving together. The boys from Mildura. This is the first time they have ever done it. And if they could bring up a win, that would create history.
Mate, good driving. Just have patience, patience.
Eric Pender, engineer for the brothers Kelly in car 15.
Updating you on some other drivers in this field. Scaife, you saw on screen, is back in 26th position. McConville, after taking over from Murphy, that power steering problem, is down in 27th, and Russell Ingall is in 28th. Some names we expect to see up the front.
It's Rob Barrett, Commercial Director for Ford Performance Racing. He makes sure that they tip enough money through the roof, and the guy in the foreground, Tim Edwards, he spends it. Make sure the cars are fast enough.
51 car on the front straight, Neil. Some smoke coming from the back of the Super Cheap Auto Commodore of Greg Murphy and Cameron McConville. I've also been down to the HSV dealer team and spoken to Eric Pender, who's looking after that car of the Kelly brothers. And I said to him, do you feel like you've got better pace than that Cat Ford at the moment? And he looked at the numbers and he said to me, look, I don't know. He said, but for some reason, the FPR Falcon has come back to us. So it feels like the car's good on its tyres. Kelly brothers waiting anxiously.
Look at this thing.
He's driving on the race line too, which is a little bit naughty. I'm sure by now he'll be well aware of all the smoke. Nathan, certainly a big pile of smoke. Let's hope that there's not oil there as well.
We've got probably 10 minutes to fix it. He's done more than 5%.
Coming up to the final 10 laps. You ride with Cameron McConville in the Super Cheap Auto Commodore, and this car went from 24th to 4th before experiencing severe power steering problems, and it looks like day over and out.
The car that's smoking is Murphy, so when you catch up to him, if you do, then you'll know.
Well, Craig, man, I guess it's always difficult not spending a year in a V8 supercar, but swapping it with Porsche this weekend as well, and you're having a great result. You're running in 7th.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Obviously Jace qualified the car and did a good job, and I jumped in and he jumped in and started the race, brought it in 4th, and then we brought it back 4th. So I was almost a bit surprised, mate.
How do you feel in the car? You comfortable?
I had a few little back issues which I've changed before Bathurst, just little things in the seat and that, but no big drama. It's not the most technical circuit in the country, so just hope it strokes along to the end.
You're looking forward to it. You've obviously been out of V8s for the season, but you're looking forward to Bathurst, seeing that the car looks strong.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to Bathurst, because to be fair, I was a little bit rusty here, and it took a few laps to get into it, but you know that's probably to be expected. I think every co-driver probably feels the same way. It's just when you hop in a car that's in the top 5, you want to do a good job, but you want to push on, but you don't want to throw it off the road. And yeah, the whole team's done a good job all weekend, really. It's been good, and I think Gory should be happy.
Well done, Beto.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah, fine effort from Craig Baird and Jason Bargwanna and all of the WPS team, that's for sure. Lowndes continues the chase, but time has beaten him. The gap is 9.9 seconds, and that's a little too much to reel in these closing laps of the Better Electrical Sandown 500.
But the Bright Kelly battle is a really fascinating one. The last time through it was 1.1 seconds between Jason and Rick, and they seesaw. Oh, Craig, big mistake. He's off the road. He's off the road down at 8. Meantime, here are the leaders. Lowndes has gone out into the gravel down at 8. He couldn't pull it up.
Settle down. Not that long to go.
And that cements his third. He just needs to consolidate that now. He's well clear of Brad.
The voice of reason, Campbell Little, saying, come on, mate, settle it down. Well, we have had 5 different round winners from the 7 rounds thus far. We're heading for our 6th different one if Bright can hold off this very persistent challenge from Rick Kelly.
And Bright's been deserving of that, hasn't he, when you consider the pace that he's shown at different points during the year. And for one reason or another, that hasn't converted from qualifying. Oh, there's the mistake for Craig. You can see it clearly on the Zinger replay. Big lock-up, got it sideways, managed it as best he could. There was never any doubt that he was going to get back on, but it was costly. It's a lock break just at the point of turn-in as he rolled the weight in the car, came away from the apex and just ran out of road, scuffed the edge of the beach, and then away he went. And Campbell's now just asking, is the front tyre okay? And that was a short, sharp response from Craig. Fine was the answer. I don't think he's too happy inside that car right at the moment. 1.2 seconds is the margin. Jason Bright, Rick Kelly. Here's the points for the round this weekend, and I owe Nathan Pretty an apology before. For some reason had a brain fade. That car was car number 51. It was Cam McConville that had the smoke coming out.
Gap now out to 1.2 seconds, Bright over Kelly. So there's a little more comfort there. There's a little more room to breathe coming into these closing handful of laps here at Sandown. It's gone fast, hasn't it? What a day. We've had a little bit of everything. And a car that looked like being a runaway winner in Mark Scaife and Garth Tander. There it is in the background, actually, coming to grief. The restart after our 3rd caution period with a steering problem.
Lowndes still talking, very animated and angry about the back markers and how much that's cost him, but they've given him margins now. He's 13 seconds, nearly 14 seconds behind Rick Kelly, and he's 4 odd seconds up the road from Brad Jones. So, and there's Brad, 4th place. Gee, that'll be a welcome relief for him. This will be the best result of the year, and the result at just the right time.
Talking to team principal Kim Jones, and he was saying a lot of people will jump on the bandwagon and say we're only good in enduros, but that's not the case. We've had a change of personnel in the team. You mentioned before engineer Phil Curtis returning, but they've also had a couple of people leave, and that changes the harmony within the team and the morale. And he said the guys have turned full circle and are working so flat out with so much passion. This is like a completely new team, so thumbs up to Team BOC. Mark?
Will Davison, we've grabbed you away from the telly. You're crossing your legs, you're uncrossing your legs. Stevie's in 5th. How are you going?
Yeah, listen, we've had a very good day, to be honest. I had a fantastic stint in the middle. We got the car up to 3rd. Listen, everyone's worked very, very well all day. The car's extremely strong. Strategy's gone well. We lost out a little bit with that last safety car. Unfortunately, a couple of the cars behind us were able to pit under the safety car. That was Bright and the BOC car. So we've lost 2 spots from 3rd to 5th, but Stevie's pushing on out there. He's closing in on Brad, but fingers crossed, mate. I don't know if we've got enough laps left.
It's a business end of the season, though, and it bodes well for Mount Panorama and Bathurst coming up.
It does. Listen, the team's really working well together. Stevie and I have formed a great combination, and it's the right time of the year to be coming good. It's going to be an extremely good haul of points here today, but to be honest, we're setting our standards pretty high. I was really, really pushing for the podium. It's not over yet, but it's not looking so likely.
We'll let you to go back to chewing your fingernails, Will.
Yeah, good on you guys. Thank you. Thanks.
And Will's older brother, Alex, is currently running in 13th place in the other DJR Falcon. He's done a nice job today. Just narrowly missed out on the top 10 shootout yesterday. So good work from the Davison brothers.
Bad sportsmanship flag for Russell Ingall for touching those cones at the end of the back straight at turn 6. Not that he's overly concerned about that, I'm sure, at the moment. But he's down in 28th position. You would not have thought that that'd be the case for those guys. Mark Scaife, if you're an HRT fan, in 26th. So big names, Scaife and Ingle, 26 and 28 for Ford and Holden, respectively. And that's an amazing situation for those guys. Bradley's holding on here. Good pace. This car has found a lot in the last couple of weeks.
Back at the front.
Scuff for the lead, and you know, it keeps on seesawing. It's a great battle between these two guys, an outstanding performance from both of them.
It's probably been going on for the best part of 20 or more laps, and Bright just chipped away at the back of Rick Kelly, pulled off that very daring move, well, almost daring around the top part of the circuit, and then finally crunched the deal. There is older brother Todd, and no doubt mum and dad John and Margaret Kelly would be there. It's Todd's wife looking on. We should say happy Father's Day to Todd too. He's got a little one.
Mason.
I've actually just walked back out of that garage, the Toll garage, and have had a word to Todd Kelly. He tells me that they made a change in the last pit stop to that car. They made a rear roll centre adjustment to it. They're looking for better entry to mid-corner grip from the car, and I wonder whether Rick's maybe just cooled off, settled down for a little bit to have a crack here towards the end of the race, but they have made it painfully clear that he is thinking about the championship. The big picture is what Rick Kelly is focused on.
And rightfully so. Particularly at this point in the championship. Remember that after Bathurst they've also got to drop around, so that scrambles the points a little as well. Coming off turn 8, just very carefully feeding the power in for Rick.
Well, this is all very serious stuff right now. The two Kelly brothers have a fabulous sense of humour. They're good mates with Nathan Pretty, and the three boys are going to make the trek to Mount Panorama Bathurst in a 1975 Combi van. Yeah. They've painted it with white wall tyres, and they plan on wearing their open-face helmets in the car on the way up there.
If it makes it. I was with them in the workshop the other day when they were negotiating the purchase of the said motorhome, Flower Power motorhome.
Just a reminder, coming up a little later this afternoon in just over an hour and a half's time. Rather, I should say less than an hour's time, in just over half an hour's time, 5 p.m. as soon as we come off air on rpmlive.tv, Jack's Chats. You can chat with Paul Dumbrell.
This is still very, very close. That's striking distance, and he's getting the benefit of the draft being created by Jason's car there.
Closing few laps here at Sandown.
Two great drivers, two great teams. Pressure driving. Mark Scaife, the watching brief, but he's out of this motor race.
Look at this, look at this. Rick is right up on Jason Bright now. Closing few laps. You can't ask for it to be any closer than this. He's on the wrong side for that turn, but he is pressuring Jason Bright into making a mistake.
He'll try the crisscross here. He was much better then. He actually got out of the throttle, weaved from one side to another, and then came up the other side. So he's got pace. He can actually get this back, and he's going to run down the gutter. Bright, he's going to run him right of the way to the left. So he crosses over. Well, now is not the time to tell a driver about a brake balance thing. So they give a message to Jason Bright to shift the brake balance while he was almost in the braking area.
And Rick Kelly is doing a beautiful job of pressuring him into turn 2. This 3-4 complex. Often drivers can make an error here. Kelly will be looking for a good drive onto the back straight. Watch the drag race. He'll tuck in behind Bright, get the draft and try and make a move.
Can't believe that Phil spoke to Jason at the point where he's about to put his foot on the brake pedal down there.
It has been much talked about, the straight line speed of the Toll HSV dealer team Commodore. But the Cat Ford's not bad either. Mark Winterbottom, Rod Barrett look on at FPR. The pressure is on. They're looking down the barrel of their first round win in 2006. Winterbottom's first round win ever. But Kelly wants to steal it away.
Jason was able to be in a better position into turn 9 that time. A little bit too much wheel spin for Rick coming off 10. Christy Kelly in the background behind husband Todd there. What a tense situation.
Last couple of laps.
Jason Bright skating in on the rear brakes then into turn 1. He's got that car maxed out. These two guys absolutely going punch for punch. If if either of them makes a blue, Craig Lowndes 16 seconds behind, but there to grab a crumb if there is one.
This race has been going on for 3 hours, 20 minutes. And you've got two cars separated by nothing. Kelly swerves out of the draft just to try and be an annoyance to Bright, break his concentration, maybe put himself in a position to make a move. Inside of turn 8, flicks to the outside.
And whenever Jason has to go that defensive, that slows his mid-corner speed, but it does make it hard for Rick to sight where he needs to be. The problem at the moment is where to do it. He could do it if he was in just the right spot here, but it's awkward through 9. But if he could stay on the outside, he'd be up there for 10. Can't do it now. Fantastic motor racing between these guys.
Onto the front straight. We're running out of time. We're running out of laps.
1 to go. 3.1 kilometres. 10 turns. Bright is the leader. Kelly in hot pursuit. Has he got anything for him? The two of them are absolutely at 100%.
Couldn't ask for this to be any better. Kelly lost a little bit of ground there. Ford is heading for its 3rd consecutive Better Electrical Sandown 500 win. The boys crossing their fingers. Winterbottom has done all his work early in the day. He did 90 laps. So too Kelly. Kelly did almost the full complement allowed for one driver. He almost did 107. And then handed over to his younger brother. Can Rick Kelly do it? Or will Bright hang on for his first Sandown 500 win? It'll be a first for either driver.
Rick was just a little wide down there that time off the top of the hill. Jason runs defensive.
Pressure, pressure, pressure. Closing 2 corners. Kelly goes the other side this time, but that Cat Ford is wide. Great driving from both men.
He's going to try and crisscross. He might sneak up the inside. It'll be absolutely nose to tail at the control line. What a fantastic race.
Better Electrical Sandown 500 goes to Ford Performance Racing.
Great racing.
Jason Bright, Mark Winterbottom wins Sandown. Super stuff, and that is Winterbottom's first ever V8 round victory. How about that? And the emotion inside FPR. They've had pole positions. Todd Kelly knew it just slipped away, but his brother did everything he could. That was pressure motor racing.
Both those teams, all of those drivers should be very proud of their achievements today. That was fantastic.
And take nothing away from Craig Lowndes. That was a monster effort from Craig Lowndes.
Do an observation lap. Parade lap.
That was one of the big talking points in the off-season. The acquisition of the services of Mark Winterbottom from Orcon Motorsport to Ford Performance Racing. He is now a race and round winner.
The official margin at the end there was 0.15 between Jason Bright and Rick Kelly. What an outstanding race.
Let's hear from one of the Kellys.
Well, Todd Kelly, I was in the garage and my heart rate's up right now. What a fantastic race at the end.
Yeah, bummer, eh? We played a little bit conservative there for the whole race, and I knew Rick would have a crack if we had the car at the end there, and a little bit more speed would have been good, but it's Rick's championship he's got to think about, and he did the right thing. I mean, it could have got dirty there at the end and we could have had a crack at it, but he did the right thing and brought the points home, and that's the main thing we need to think about.
Great weekend together. First time for the two brothers together. You've got to be excited going into the big race of the year at Bathurst, and you gave him a little message there. Well done, Buffhead.
Yeah, no, we should have a quiet VB tonight for Father's Day as well, so it hasn't been a bad day.
Congratulations, Todd.
Thanks.
Well, Mark Winterbottom, there's high fives, there's hugs, there's kisses. You have won. How are you feeling?
Oh, mate, that is sensational. It shows the passion of the guys. We've worked bloody hard, and to win this race is a fantastic achievement. And I think there'll be beers on the bar tonight because it's a really good result for the guys. We're just pumped.
What about those last 5 laps? You're pulling your hair out, you're crossing your legs, you're uncrossing them again.
I was sweating, but I was really cold, so I don't know what was going on. But just awesome. I thought he had it, but you never know, and it's bloody nerve-wracking, and I'm just glad it's over.
Congratulations, enjoy the celebrations, Mark.
Thanks, mate.
What a year for that young man. Hasn't it all gone in the right direction as we check the VB scoreboard? The results of the Better Electrical Sandown 500. Winterbottom and Bright, the victors. And then Rick and Todd Kelly, Lowndes and Whincup, and Stephen Johnson got Brad Jones right in the dying moments to steal 4th place away. How about that? And Dean Canto, Lee Holdsworth with a top result there as well. Jason Bargwanna and Craig Baird, Morris and Ellery, Courtney and Seaton, and Pretty and Wheel all in the top 10. As we roll through this entire 31-car field, we now get back into trouble zone. Guys who experienced a tough day, either it be crash, mechanical, whatever the case may be. Boy, there are so many stories to tell after this one. That was a very interesting race, and we have still got plenty of time to wrap it all up. That man there should be very, very proud of himself. All of them. What an effort. We'll hear from all of them when we come back.
Line 'em up.
The Caterpillar Ford, Jason Bright, Mark Winterbottom, victorious at Sandown. Runner-up, Rick Kelly and Todd Kelly. That was a spectacular motor race. And Craig Lowndes came back from the dead. One lap down. Yes, a safety car may have assisted him, but that was a phenomenal drive from the man who came into this 500k event, the points leader. We're going to unfold all the stories for you, tell you who's where in the points and who has what to say. And a day of mixed weather conditions now, the conclusion of the race. The rain sprinkles again on the back part of the circuit. It had everything. And here are the championship points at the conclusion of round 8. Look at that. There's not much between them, is it? 27 points between Lowndes and Rick Kelly. So Lowndes lost 10. But here's the little catch. As Mark Winterbottom moves up into the top 3 at Garth Tander's expense, after the next round at Bathurst, every driver must drop their worst round, but Bathurst still counts before they drop that. So the points are going to get interesting. And Whincup gained 2 positions there from 7th up to 5th. Paul Dumbrell drops out of top 10, and Todd Kelly was a big winner there. So too Will Davison. Pretty amazing stuff at the end of this 500k event. And Kelly, Rick that is, just relief, winding down, relaxing. Well, mate, did that have enough for you?
Fantastic motor race, wore me out. I think I forgot to breathe, forgot to eat, forgot to drink. World's biggest headache at the end of that, but I was just totally enthralled. That was a great race. This man on screen at the moment, an incredible comeback from so far out that you would thought that would not have been possible. Obviously, the safety car played a vital role in that, but the battle for the lead was just tremendous. Those guys were at 110% throughout the duration, and the push at the end from both of them was just tremendous. And congratulations to everybody at the Caterpillar Ford team, Ford Performance Racing, and Jason Bright withstood the blowtorch there at the end and hung on. Rick was certainly giving him absolutely everything at the end, and it set up not only a great race but a fascinating scenario in terms of the championship. Lots of questions to ask off the back of this one as Bridie enjoys his moment. And, very glum faces at the Holden Racing team attached to the number 2 car after being in such a commanding position for that to all slip through their fingers. Also, not a lot of happiness down at Stone Brothers Racing at the moment for the reigning champion Russell Ingall and for his group of guys, and a bit of a question mark over what was going on there in terms of brakes for both their cars. And we saw a brake issue for them at Bathurst last year, a very rare occurrence in V8 supercar racing, so some question marks there, and there'll be a lot of focus on that, no doubt, between now and Bathurst, Lee.
While those guys celebrate and indicate they are number 1, one guy who's experienced his first Better Electrical Sandown 500 is Holden Racing Team's Ryan Briscoe, who joins us now in the Fujitsu Tech Centre. Ryan, your thoughts? You ended up finishing, where were you in the run down there, in the 20s somewhere? Tough day.
Yeah, oh my gosh, it was one of the toughest races of my life, I think. You know, it was tough. We got in there, I think, at about lap 66, and we were a lap down, and, you know, just in the mix of it all, you know, so it was pretty tough, and made a couple of small mistakes locking up the brakes and going a bit wide, and at one point I had a touch with, I think it was Richard Lyons. I'm not sure who was in the car at the time, but we bent the steering a little bit, so I did the last sort of 70 laps with the bent steering, and oh my God, I was just hanging on for dear life.
It was always going to be a tough day, wasn't it? When unfortunately there was contact. Jim Richards obviously touched someone on the opening lap, and then he had to come in, and then shortly thereafter you went down a lap. It was always going to be a tough day from there, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's always going to be difficult when you start off like that, but what a great experience. I had a great time out there. It was, the competition is just so tough out there, and everyone's racing so hard and touching here and there, and it was just one of the best races of my life, even if I wasn't at the pointy end. But fantastic preparation for Bathurst.
Well, stick around if you don't mind. We've got more questions to ask you, but for now, let's go to Greg Rust.
And of course the trophies for the Better Electrical 500. Please welcome third place for this round of the championship. What a fight back today. Craig Lowndes and Jamie Whincup from the 888 team. People said that you blokes were out of the game. What a comeback.
Yeah, 888 team, and Craig did a fantastic job to get us back from 18th or so on the podium. Fantastic effort.
How did it feel over those final few laps? You had a really good crack at it, didn't you?
Well, we did, Rusty. I almost had an off at the down in the Dandenong, but to FPR and to Jason and Mark, fantastic, well done. But to our guys, we made one little slight error during the day, but Jamie did a fantastic first stint. To Better Electrical, thank you very much. To Caltex and all the Ford fans for coming out and staying away.
And the great news for Craig Lowndes is, as we let the boys take their place in third, he salvages more points for his championship chase. Second today, the brothers. It's wonderful to have them here from the Toll HSV dealer team. Give it up for Rick and Todd Kelly. Rick, come on over. It was a pressure situation toward the end of that race there, and were you tempted? Were you tempted to go for the win versus the championship, which you've been thinking about?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've got a lot of seconds this year, so we really need that first. Unfortunately, we didn't get it today, but we drove hard, and Brodie made a fantastic move on us. But the team done a good job, made really good decisions out there, good decisions on the run, which really put us where we are.
Todd, how do you feel? I mean, it's a good result for the boys, and it certainly sets things up well for Bathurst for you, doesn't it?
No, as Rick said, all the boys have done a magic job at the HSV dealer team, and Rick's deal at this race meeting, and especially Bathurst, is a championship, and I thought Rick did a magnificent job there. He kept his head and put a bit of pressure on Brodie, but he had the championship in the back of the mind, and that's a big picture, so he did a great job.
You don't often see it in motor racing, ladies and gentlemen. The brothers on the podium, Rick and Todd Kelly. Terrific to have them here together. But the winners of this event and the contingent from Ford Performance Racing are wrapped about it. Please welcome Mark Winterbottom and Jason Bright. What an incredible afternoon for you. You said to me before this race started that you've been working on the race package. We know it's been a good qualifier, the Caterpillar Ford, but it was a good race car today.
Mate, it was a great car today. We, Mark did a fantastic job there early on, and I knew we had a quick car when we hopped in, and we took a little bit of a risk stopping early there, and trying to get an advantage with a short stop later on, and it paid off with the fresh tyres. But we just want to dedicate this win to Leanne Burnett, who lost her life tragically early in this week.
Mark, for you, what a wonderful result. You won the development series in this category, and now you're with a fantastic team. Must be terrific.
Oh, mate, that was fantastic. I did my little bit in the start, and then Brodie brought it home, and then that move on Rick was pretty special. So, an awesome win.
Roll on, Mount Panorama Bathurst. That's the view of the Ford Performance Racing team. They are the winners of the Better Electrical 500 for 2006. Jason Bright and Mark Winterbottom.
Sensational performance. Bright has won Bathurst. He had never won the Sandown 500, and he does it with his new teammate, Mark Winterbottom. Brilliant performance.
Ryan, just a quick question before I'm sure you have to duck off, but driving a V8 supercar, was it what you would expect to have found in a car like this? And you've been in so many different cars in the last couple of weeks, I can't believe. In fact, I noticed you're taking the tape off your hand. You've got the big blister on the left hand there from the gear shift. It's all very different, isn't it?
Yeah, big change. One of the toughest cars I've ever driven in a race, I'd say. And even the conditions out there. I mean, over in America, it's totally different. If someone sort of has an oil spill, safety car comes out, they clean up the oil. Out there, you know, there was oil on the track. You know, we got sprinkles of rain. You know, it was just green the whole way, and you just had to hang on. And you know, not only was the car a challenge to drive, but the racing circumstances, and a great experience. And I'm just looking forward to Bathurst now.
Congratulations on your run. Congratulations on qualifying. It's been a learning experience. We can't wait to see you at Bathurst, mate. Ryan Briscoe from the Holden Racing Team. More on your home of motorsport. When we return to Sandown, we've got more people to talk to, more news to give you. I think I found it. Who are these boys?